She suffers from such a rare disorder of being unable to just be a human.
I mean, when I listen to Meghan, I am just reminded that there's nothing authentic there.
You're never going to convince anyone that you're authentic.
I'm working so hard. Is she really?
Why does she struggle so much with humanity?
I feel like it's pretty safe to say that Meghan Markle is like a pathological liar.
She can't even act like herself.
And she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur. I can list more fails on both of my hands.
She has done the world premiere episode of actually being on someone else's podcast.
Meghan Markle's appearance on the Jamie Kern Lima Show podcast was promoted as her most genuine yet. No makeup, no script, just the Duchess of Sussex speaking from the heart, or so we were told.
I'm so grateful you're here.
Yes.
It's gonna be fun.
Hi, crew.
You made me cry. Good thing I have no makeup on.
You look so pretty.
I have not done a show with no makeup since my 1,000 QVC shows.
Do you think I have?
I've never seen someone that struggles to just give us one strip of authenticity.
I just feel like at this point, she's gotten a lot of opportunities to tell us something interesting. You're dying to tell us stuff, but none of it has any substance to it.
But the internet remains split. Was this a candid peek into her soul, or a finely tuned performance in the ongoing Meghan show? Critics argue her emotional moments and curated realness came off as a polished PR strategy, with social media users suggesting her vulnerability felt staged for dramatic effect.
Thank you for trusting me with your first ever podcast and with your friendship.
Yeah. Means a lot, Jamie. Thank you.
I have full body chills right now. Yeah.
I'm a very accepting person. Truly, I want to like something about her. I'm searching for something to like about her, and it's so hard.
On X, users accused her of using performative sadness to gain sympathy, with many pointing to her previous media appearances, like the Archetypes podcast, as examples of overproduced and overly rehearsed content that claim to be unfiltered. Is Meghan finally showing her true self, or just playing another carefully calculated role?
She also had to tell us at the Time 100 thing that she's the happiest she's ever been. How many people do you know have to convince you that they're the happiest that they've ever been in their life? This is all just Meghan Markle's stage. We're expected to buy it.
She wants us to believe that she went from being a D-list actress from a show that nobody that I know watched, Suits, to becoming Martha Stewart in 3 years. This is totally authentic.
I have to somewhat argue with Candace here. Suits is a proven international hit with spin-offs and gigantic fandom, so Meghan would be quiet known in the celebrity circles even back then, and get some decent money from the show. All I'm saying, that's definitely not D-list, but okay, moving on. During the interview, Meghan opened up about her lifestyle brand American Riviera Orchard and her experiences as a mother. She shared that she writes emails to her children every night, even reading one on air with a tearful laugh. This is why it's nice not to have makeup on. Host Jamie Kern Lima called the moment raw and soul-filling. Many viewers weren't convinced.
So beautiful.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that one.
Sure you were.
Yeah, they're just it's just so great. This is why it's so nice to not have makeup on. Thank you.
The one thing she is dying to sell to us is relatability. The one thing she is dying for more than anything is for us to love her. And she can't get it across the finish line.
The Daily Mail quoted royal commentator Alexander Larman, who called the display despicable and pathetic, suggesting Meghan's tears were a last-ditch attempt to stay relevant. Critics labeled her display as crocodile tears, pointing to her composed delivery and suspiciously bare face as signs of a rehearsed performance. The host didn't help matters. Jamie Kern Lima's effusive, almost robotic praise only fueled accusations that the entire thing felt artificial. Meghan, how are you? Felt less like a question and more like a prompt from a script.
Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. How are you?
I know you always make it about me. Your husband just shared publicly. I'm so happy for my wife and fully support absolutely everything she's done and continues to do.
When did he say that?
This week. It's everywhere in the press. Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's sweet.
Harry, again, find your balls. Wherever they are, find them.
Plenty of people are questioning the authenticity. Megyn Kelly dubbed Meghan a malignant narcissist, accusing her of using her royal status to garner attention and clicks. Social media chimed in, mocking everything from her alleged vision board with Prince Harry to how often she says "me" in public appearances. Some even claimed she had her sights set on Harry long before they met.
But she said she was in the trenches. She alludes to being in the trenches when she was in the British royal family. Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title.
British media outlets like the Daily Telegraph didn't hold back either, branding the podcast as nauseating and egocentric, arguing Meghan's ego consistently eclipses her message. Her podcast career began in 2020 with a headline-grabbing $20 million deal with Spotify to deliver uplifting content. The result? Archetypes, a 12-episode series launched in 2022 featuring big names like Serena Williams and Mariah Carey, aiming to dismantle stereotypes about women.
It flopped. It flopped really hard despite Spotify trying to push it, and they realized that these two don't really want to work, okay?
But the podcast didn't live up to the hype. Critics slammed it as indulgent and shallow. The Independent's Olivia Petter described it as the most self-congratulatory 57 minutes of audio you'll hear all year.
Spotify, I think, ended up canceling the rest of their deal. There was no use. There was no money in it.
What happened to Spotify? The critics were horrible about With Love, Meghan. You sold inventory that you didn't have on asever.com. People are still waiting for their refunds.
Social media echoed the criticism. Some dismissed it as woke nonsense, with Meghan only ever talking about herself. Others, including some Reddit users, appreciated the feminist themes, but admitted the execution felt too scripted. Spotify ended the partnership in June 2023.
What was up with the no makeup? That had to be an intentional
That's
move.
another thing. And it's bullshit. She had the hair blown out. It was perfect. I do not believe that she was makeup free there. She didn't have eye makeup on, which is a different thing. But that's her being relatable, Dave.
Yeah, right.
Relatable.
The intentional, relatable.
Yeah.
Editing all the time-coded notes for season 2 of With Love, Meghan, and then being in edits for the podcast and being a mom and a wife and a friend.
Yes, the work ethic must just be grueling, writing social media captions, deciding what she's going to wear.
The so-called makeup-free look was marketed as a break from royal glamour, but many saw it as a textbook PR tactic. Fans mocked the no-filter image, speculating her natural glow was anything but natural. Critics noted that it's hard to connect with someone who only ever talks about how amazing they are and how incredible everything they do is.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard and I like working hard and I'm still working hard. The moment that everything sells out, it doesn't mean that we're done. Yeah. It means we're working on replenishment and what are the next SKUs and what's the next tranche of products and what's the timing on that and writing the newsletters and writing the social media captions and making sure that all that feels in line.
Being one of the most privileged people on the planet, she still won't talk about how hardworking she is, which includes coming up with Instagram captions.
And being a mom and a wife and a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Those are all jobs. I mean, I love being that busy, but I do think it's really interesting when people have no sense of what goes into the thing.
Yeah. It's too much for me. There's only small doses of that podcast I can consume.
The finish line was really the starting line.
That would infuriate me, like, as someone who's trying to start a business, struggling, because, like, you're in the royal family.
Yes.
So to complain about, oh, the business, you don't have to, if you don't want to show up, if you don't want to do the schedule, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
Right.
You're living in literally like a fantasy tale of...
Meghan's talk of hard work ignited more backlash. She listed her responsibilities: managing product launches for her brand, writing newsletters, editing social media posts, overseeing her Netflix show, and juggling roles as a mom, wife, and friend. "I love being that busy," she said, while lamenting that people underestimate the effort.
Does she work hard?
Well, according to their tax documents, they work 1 hour a week.
I think it is just too painful. That long. I mean, it is. So that is enough to make you go to the toilet. I've got to say, it is revolting. That woman is just something else.
Jamie Kern Lima, unsurprisingly, applauded Meghan's hustle, celebrating how her projects were thriving, but others weren't as impressed. Megyn Kelly and Barstool's Dave Portnoy slammed the comments as tone-deaf, arguing that Meghan's royal connections and wealth make her problems unrelatable. "She can't fail," Portnoy pointed out, emphasizing that real entrepreneurs don't have her safety net.
I can't have someone marry into the royal family and be like, woe is me, of all these attention or whatever you're getting from being. It's no kidding. It's the royal family.
I can't believe I'm not getting paid for this.
All this stuff. And then didn't they renounce their royalty, but they still want the royalty?
Kelly didn't hold back, framing Meghan's work narrative as part of a larger victim complex. Ex-users echoed her sentiment, mocking Meghan's "I work so hard" soundbite as yet another example of self-pity wrapped in privilege.
Talking about how hard it is to be a working mom. That most of the working mothers in America do not have help.
Exactly right, exactly right.
Here today for such an exciting conversation that I promise you is going to fill your soul today.
Even Jamie Kern Lima came under fire. YouTube personality The Royal Rogue called her delivery painfully awkward and cheerleader-like, accusing her of sounding just as rehearsed as Meghan.
The host.
What's happening with her?
If people didn't know who was who, and the expression, Yeah, it was between two ferns.
Yeah.
Lima's constant praise and exaggerated emotions felt to many like she was playing a supporting role in Meghan's carefully orchestrated production.
Jamie then talks like this, and what I love are grown women who talk like this, like they just injected some helium and everything's... Okay, there's that.
Today is an episode of the Jamie Kern Lima Show unlike any episode we have ever done.
One viewer put it bluntly. It felt like they were both reading from the same PR manual. Lima seemed to mimic Meghan's emotional cues with enthusiasm that bordered on theatrical.
And the interviewer, are you more in love now than ever? Like, I'm sure that Meghan wrote all these questions. And then he's a fox. Like, girl, again, I think you took a time machine back to 2006.
We're hearing Meghan tell her friend Jamie, or Jamie talk about Meghan, and telling us that Meghan, by wearing a brand of jeans, has gotten women out of human trafficking. Okay.
Ex-users said the episode played more like a staged performance than an honest conversation. The verdict? Lima's over-the-top sincerity may have been just as contrived as Meghan's natural look, leaving many listeners cringing. Or maybe this is just how billionaire women perform authenticity.
Girl, you lived in a castle. You got a princess title. People were falling at your... People would run your bathwater for you. I mean, I could list the perks. I could list them forever.
Her Netflix show didn't fare much better.
And essentially, the series is about her inviting her friends and famous guests to a beautiful California estate, which is where she cooks and she gardens and she hosts trips. I guess now she's going to be Martha Stewart.
Celebrity chef Jameson Stocks, who once cooked for King Charles, publicly trashed with love Meghan, calling it terrible and painful to watch due to its slow pace and dull presentation. Stocks claimed he turned down an offer from Netflix to consult on the show, saying he could sense it would be fake. He told the New York Post that Netflix later sent him a legal warning, which he dismissed as nonsense. "I don't think she can cook," he said bluntly, suggesting she return to acting, a profession he said she was actually good at. Netflix denied sending the legal threat.
Let's make a show.
Let's go.
Who does this appeal to? Oh, her neighbors are about people who could probably afford the ingredients and could have a backyard filled with honeybees. This could appeal to Oprah Winfrey and basically no one else, least of all in the economy that we're all just coming out of. The music in the background. Do you believe in magic? I think I understand why it is she was a D-list actress, because she can't even act like herself.
Critics didn't hold back. Variety called the show a Montecito ego trip not worth taking, accusing Meghan of forcing guests to compliment her in a never-ending parade of self-praise. The Independent called it gormless, pointless, and an exercise in narcissism, even mocking a scene where Meghan refers to a cake as she and whispers, "Good night, sweetheart," before placing it in the oven. The Times. Carol Migley warned viewers expecting a syrupy, feel-good binge that the show was so much worse. Vulture described it as a deranged, bizarro world voyage into the center of nothing. Viewers seemed to agree. The series scored a dismal 2.4 out of 10 on IMDb from over 2,500 reviews and just 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. One reviewer summed it up. "This isn't even a fun hate watch. It's just bad." Some, like The Guardian's Stuart Heritage, warned that it could mark the Sussexes' last Netflix outing. Unfortunately, I can't go through all the terrible reviews because we'd be here all day. one critic said. But the takeaway, audiences didn't buy it.
This is a joke, and I'm tired of some of these media outlets continuing to elevate this person when the reality is she's a grifter. Fake it till you make it. We don't accept that anymore. We want authenticity.
So what do you think? Is Meghan being real? Or is this all just another act? Did you watch any of her shows? Maybe you a fan of Suits? Or that Not Really Cooking Netflix show? Drop whatever you want to say in the comments below and subscribe while you're there.